Welcome, man.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, dude. This is your second time.
Yeah, I
I'm
feel
excited to
honored.
hear about the rumble in the jungle.
Yeah, yeah. That was a special event.
Yeah,
That
man.
really was. But anyway, yeah. Before that, how are you doing?
Doing good, man. I feel good. Got some more scars on my neck, but I'm good to go.
Good.
So we'll see. The next step in the process is figure out what kind of treatment. So I'll
Yep.
find out next week
Cool.
what to do from there. And
You
yeah.
gonna glow in the dark?
Yes. Dude, this the PET scan they gave me. It's
Yeah.
some kind of proton emitting some whatever, something triangulation scan or whatever. So they inject you with some kind of heavy radiation. And so the dude's like in this thing and he takes it out of this vial that I mean it looks like a movie, a scene from a movie. It's like in this canister, that's all sealed and he opens it and like steam comes out, it's probably on dry ice or some shit.
Yeah.
and uh and then this little silver canister that's lead or some and yeah, it's pretty wild.
Is
And
he
then
like leaded up as well?
yeah, he's got a thing on and then he
Yeah.
goes, I'm in this little tiny room and he injects me and then goes out of the room. He's
Like
like,
runs
it's
off.
going to take it's going to take about 30 minutes for this thing to get through my system to
Hmm.
yeah, for the camera to see all this stuff. So he's like, I'll just come back and get you when we're ready to put you in there. And it's a really simple, like I fell asleep. I was relaxed as hell, I
Hmm.
just sat there and fell asleep. And then during the scan, I fell asleep as well. I said, I've been really tired. I have been way
Yeah.
more tired than I normally am,
Understandable.
which sucks because I'm kind of a hyper person. I like being on the go. Like my motto was when my kids were growing up is like, let's go. I got shit to do. Okay. And so being tired more often is I'm okay with it. I'm not upset. I just it's not me, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good, man. I feel good.
No, glad to
Besides
hear it.
sleeping
Genuinely, I
more.
am. It's
Yeah,
uh,
I appreciate it, man.
it's
Everyone in
good
the
to see you
community
on
has
this
been
side.
awesome, man. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, guys. Everyone has been amazing. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Um, yeah, it's good.
Cool.
It's another roadblock in the this journey of life, whatever,
Yeah.
an
You, you,
obstacle.
you've had you've had more than most, haven't
I've
you?
had a few, man. I just it was weird because I guess I was making up for 25 years of good health. Like I mean really good health, like never sick or nothing, okay? Like a sniffle here and there. So
Yeah.
making up for that. Okay. But yeah, man, yeah, so welcome back. And let me give a shout out to the
Yeah.
sponsors before I forget.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for sponsoring this episode and this podcast. Shout out to Skirmish. Go to skirmish.net to find out more. This is in my opinion, one of the best stat tracking systems for Airsoft. I have the links in all the descriptions for every video on here and audio part. And then JACKAL Tactical is a storefront and field up in Pennsylvania. And they also run Otherworld Milsim, which they run events out of. And yeah, shout out to them as well. So go to those links and check them out. Appreciate the sponsors. So, man, thank you so much for coming back on, dude. You
Oh,
look
it's on
healthy.
my,
You
my
look
absolute
awesome.
pleasure.
Yeah, you look at
I
like,
don't know about that. I'm shattered. I'm still at work.
are you?
We've had a well, yeah, hence the slightly clinical setting.
Oh, okay. I
So
thought maybe it was like a background or like a different office or
no,
something.
no, we've got a lot going on at home, so I figured I'll stay here because otherwise there's
Oh,
just going to be too much background noise going on. So yeah,
oh, okay.
so I stay here tonight. So,
Oh
but to be
shit.
fair, we only just finished, so um,
Yeah.
it's uh, it's worked out just nicely in
Oh,
terms of the
good. You didn't
timing.
have to sit there and wait. Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
no no no
Good.
no
Good.
no no no. So
Because I was here. My son came over. One of my sons came over to get some tools. He's going to do a side job. Actually, he's helping out my father-in-law. So his grandfather.
yeah
He's going over there helping out. He takes care of his grass. cuts his
Right.
grass in his yard, his lawn, and bushes and all that kind of stuff. So all of our kids actually that live around here, they all help out their grandparents with in something.
Cool.
The three boys have pickup trucks. If they need something hauled, they'll go over there and help them. My
Nice.
one daughter that lives close to us, she's a hairstylist, so she'll go over and cut their hair or do, stuff like that.
Cool.
And so it's kind of cool. They get involved. So he's going over to fix some kind of wooden steps. And so he needed like a nail gun and some nails, which I have left over from this house project I did here a few months ago. And yeah, so but I was
Cool.
here. I was here waiting for you. Well, not really waiting, just, talking with my son and everything. So, but yeah, man, I wanted to go over the Rumble in
Yeah.
the Jungle. It was a big
Love it, the
event.
chuckle. Yeah.
What I don't really know a whole lot about this event. Who puts it on? Where's it at? And
So this was the first one. So it was something that Kicking Mustang, James had kind of put together, and I think it's been. I mean, I can't speak for him, but I think it's something that he's been wanting to do for a while. I've
yeah,
noticed some of the posts that on like his socials were like, would you attend an event that was sort of quite heavily sniper focused,
yeah,
and it was kind of like the Instagram yes, no. And I'm guessing he got a lot of good feedback. And so eventually, I guess this is what kind of happened. So obviously he was like one of the main figures sort of behind it. But also he flew out Airsoft Alphonse. So Alphonse came over as well. So he was like
yeah.
the other sort of big name. And then yeah, they kind of threw out
Yeah.
the invitation to the rest of the low lifes, like like yours truly. And so yeah, it also turned out that they had chosen a site that was like 20 minutes down the road from me, which was
Oh,
like
that's amazing.
couldn't have fallen better. That being said, I've never played there before. I'm actually quite lucky. I'm quite spoiled because I live pretty much slap bang in the middle of the country. There's so many sites within like an hour to an hour and a half.
Okay.
It's untrue. Like, and so the fact that I've not played at this one shouldn't be like a big surprise kind of thing,
Okay.
because I am very spoiled and I know that. So, but this particular site is one of the bigger sort of sites in the UK. I think it's about 200 acres in total.
Hmm.
It's an old quarry that's been sort of re-landscaped. Um, and so yeah, so that's called the Kingdom. It's run by Optac. And so yeah, uh, Mustang, Alphonse, they got in touch with, I think it was Ascension Research, who sort of they did the heavy lifting in terms of organizing the actual games, and then I think it was the Optac guys that were like mainly the marshals and obviously looking after or hosting, should I say,
Yeah.
the event. So yeah, it was like a 2 day thing. Saturday, Sunday, they'd opened the campsite because people were camping there. Um, and so they kind of labeled it as a battle sim, an 8 hour rolling battle sim rather than a full on sort of mil sim 24 hour, 48 hour thing.
Yeah.
Um, but obviously there was, well, I say there was obviously a heavy sniper focus. Yes, that there was, but I was also amazed at how many people showed up that were sort of just regular sort of AR users. There
Yeah.
was there was, there
Like
was
rifleman and
yeah, yeah, absolutely plenty. There was a few guys running around with LMGs, plenty of riflemen, to say, lots of ghillies. I've never seen so many ghillies like in one place. I was jokingly sort of saying to James, how's it feel to have so many kids,
right?
kind of running around, because I think it's fair to say that a lot of people have obviously, I mean, including myself, obviously saw the videos on YouTube and sort of, I think I could do that,
Oh,
so,
absolutely. He's influenced a lot of people to be
yeah,
the
definitely,
ghillie snipers. I remember when I had him
definitely.
on the first time, he was talking about when he first started going out like that. everyone was making fun of him, he was
Mm.
like the only one dressed like that, and they're like
Yeah.
making Wookiee noises and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And then until after the game when he's sniped them all
Yeah.
and they
Giving
can't
everyone.
find him. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that was really good. So I went along with like a few of the guys from sort of the local side that we typically play at. So there was four of us, including Lee. So it was like Lee, Mike, Ashton. And yeah, it was. I think there was just shy of 200 players on the first day. I'd say there must have been 60 gillies, like on that first day.
Damn,
It
bro.
it was we like at the safety brief, all the gillies were sort of put we all sort of congregated into one large bush.
I say when you stand
Because
next to you, I got a
yeah,
picture I want to pull up from your Instagram that I really cannot even tell how many people are in it because the camouflage is so good, bro.
which one's that?
Let me show you. Hold on.
Um,
Look at this.
oh yeah, I mean, mate,
It's-
that's nothing. That is literally nothing. That
Look
was
at
that was the
this.
second day. I know, I know. That was the second day just before we went and did the hide and seek game. I'll come to that in a bit because that was
Yeah,
epic. But yeah, that was day two. That wouldn't have been like that wouldn't have scratched the surface. Honestly, the first day was just insane. There was got to be 60, 70 gilly players, easy,
that's
easy.
crazy.
Um, and so they were sort of trying to split us into teams. So they got all the gilly players together and sort of like split us in half kind of thing. You're like, right, you're going banded, you're going non-banded. Um,
Yeah, so
and
what was the game mode like the first day? How did they play like a
uh,
few hours and then break or
so no, it was an 8 hour rolling game essentially.
oh, okay.
There was no sort of real. I mean, you could dip in and out as and when you wanted. And to be honest, that's kind of how I'd sort of envisaged it being a little bit. I've got to be honest. Whenever I sort of go to these sort of bigger um, airsoft events, I'm always kind of a bit don't know how well this is going to go because I mean the thing like with airsoft, unlike say paintball in the UK, is because there's no governing body that sort of oversees everything. Sites have got slightly different interpretations on how they play certain rules. Like
Mm,
medic rules, for example. That can always vary a little bit site to site, and
sure.
sort of you do sometimes find when you get these bigger events where people are coming from all over the country, people start getting annoyed unless the rules are very, very clearly laid out because some
Hmm.
people seem to be gaming the rules a little bit, if you get what I mean, or
Yep,
not sort of, meeting the standard that you might hold yourself to. And
right.
so, it can sometimes degenerate into a bit of a, this and that kind of thing. So
I don't like games with rules that are subjective. Like it
yeah,
really goes against my personality type. So even
yeah,
like board games, card games, board games they have that are
yeah.
like where everyone votes, like the Cards Against Humanity kind of thing,
Hmm.
these type of games. I'll have fun with them if I'm like 3 or 4 beers in, okay?
Yeah.
But but typically I like games with very clear-cut rules, okay?
Yeah.
That are
Yeah, yeah,
not up for interpretation.
yeah.
And yeah, so I totally get that. Yeah.
So yeah, that was sort of sat there in the back of my head, like don't expect too much, Andrew. This could all go to to pot very, very quickly. So
Hmm.
yeah, I went in with zero expectations. Um, but you know what, I've got to be completely honest. You know what, it was brilliant. There was no real issues whatsoever. Everything went, I think, about as good as you could possibly hope, which was a real surprise.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
I mean, the other thing is they'd actually raised the duel limits a little bit for this event
Yep.
compared to sort of most UK events. So it was nice to have the ability to run a little bit more behind the bolt action.
Hmm.
Not that it makes a massive difference. And to be honest, I didn't particularly tune my rifle to suit it because it's already set up the way it is. And
Sure.
what's it going to give me an extra 5 meters or something. I don't know
Yeah,
the
but it
actual
might
length.
with some people that are geared up, it might give them that extra
Yeah,
thump
yeah,
so that they
potentially.
can
I mean,
really
I
feel it, you know?
yeah, I nearly brought the HTI out, but I was like, I chronoed it the night before. That's the big 50 cal,
Oh yeah.
because that thing can run naughty power if needs be. But no, I couldn't get it down low enough, so that one stayed at home.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And unfortunately, I broke my tack a couple of weekends back prior as well, so I had to run my
Oh,
SRS, which is
okay.
no bad thing.
Right.
It's not a bad rifle to run in the slightest. But my tack was up until that point performing like chef's kiss kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had some pretty bad weather, and yeah, long story short, grease got into the bucking because it ran through the cylinder because water
Uh,
had got into it. It just contaminated the bucking, and that was the end of that kind of thing.
mm,
So yeah, I need to strip that down when I get a bit of time.
yeah. Now, is that an
But
easy fix? Or are you just going to replace the bucking or are you just kind of clean it all up?
yeah, I'm going to replace it. I think it's one of those. In theory, it should be okay to clean because this particular bucking isn't silicon, so it should be all right with alcohol in it.
Oh, yeah.
But for what it costs, I'll just replace it.
Yeah.
It's pennies on the dollar kind of
That's
thing,
true.
really.
Yeah. If it gets grease on it and it's like a
That's the
soft
end of it.
rubber or something, you're
Yeah,
going to have to use some kind of degreaser, which dries it out.
that's it. Yeah, and then you end
And then
up
it starts
with
cracking or it
absolutely.
gets
And then
really
the other thing
sticky.
is you never really know how consistently you've coated the bucking. So if you've only just nicked one side, you're then going to end up with side spin, and so it's just yeah.
Yeah.
Like I say, for what they cost, it's not worth the hassle. So
True. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll just replace it. But yeah, like I say, I was running my backup rifle, but I still took the thermal scope. So because obviously knowing that was going to be a big sort of factor, there's going to be a lot of counter sniping, which is the way that I tend to play. I
Yeah.
don't tend to worry about riflemen. I'm looking for the bolt action users. So
For
yeah,
anyone who
that
doesn't know, go over your gear setup. What's your go over your what your sniper? I mean the scope you're using. You know the thermal
yeah.
one.
So
So we talked about it the first time you
it's
came on,
yeah,
and
yeah, we did, yeah.
people are really impressed with that thing.
So it's a pulsar thermion duo. So it's a multispectral scope. So because obviously the issue with using sort of thermal with airsoft is you can't actually see the round. It's not too bad if you're running a normal rifle or a DMR, say, because you've got the ability to obviously pull the trigger again, so you can walk rounds potentially onto a target. But with a bolt action, you don't get that luxury. So being able to see the BB and track the BB, so you can make adjustments. So obviously, if you miss the first time, you can try and land it the second. Thermal's not really the best for that. You don't really see all that much. So the beauty with the Thermion Duo is because it's a multispectral scope, the you get like a picture in picture mode. So when you look down the glass, you're not actually looking through glass as such. You're looking into a little TV screen. And then you can switch it so that either the main screen is thermal or daytime. And then there's a picture in picture. So there's a smaller image which sits on the top, which is the other channel essentially. So if you're looking at thermal, it'll show you daytime. If you're looking at daytime, it'll show you the thermal. And yeah, you can sort of see on some of the
Oh,
videos.
you're
Yeah.
doing great explaining it. For anyone that's driving or at work that you can't watch the video right now, yeah, you did a great job explaining it in words. And anyone that's watching the video will be able to see what he's talking about while he's talking about it because he's got some great videos up on his Instagram that you guys need to go check out.
So obviously the other thing with it being a digital scope, the beauty is you can just hit record. So you don't have to have a separate scope cam. And the other thing I like with it is you get to see what I actually saw. You're not sort of seeing, because a lot of the YouTubers will superimpose crosshairs onto scope cams afterwards, which I think is a bit cheating because you can make it look like, oh, that's exactly where I was aiming, kind of thing.
Right.
And
Yep.
you don't always get to see like how much holdover, someone's using, or if they're canting the rifle against wind, or whereas what you see on my videos is that's exactly what I saw when I was looking down that scope. So
Hmm.
it's very nuts and bolts. There's there's no fancy editing in that regard, afterwards. Um,
Yeah, I love
so
these videos, man. I remember when the first time I had you on, anyone that wants to know, his Instagram is AJ underscore Lowe. And I'll have this link, these links in here.
cool. Yeah,
And then your YouTube is also uh just
yeah,
called
it's
Lowe.
AJ Lowe. Yeah,
AJ Lowe. That's it. I'll have those links. But yeah, it's when we first talked about this and you were like, "Oh yeah, it's this." We looked it up and I remember, was it is it Longbow? Is that the
yeah.
brand?
Longbow is a friend's company that he sells ammunition, BBs. He sells rifles, but he had
Oh,
one
that's where we
first.
found it. Okay,
Yeah,
listed.
he had one first, and then he was digging me in the ribs saying you need to get one, and I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, all
And it
right.
was upwards of, it was in the thousands of dollars. I remember when I pulled it
Yeah,
up and I was like,
they're about
whoa.
they're about £4,500 when they have actually just dropped the price on them because I think they're just about to replace it with a newer version,
Okay.
which has got a higher quality thermal sensor. So I think
Mm,
they're down to about 3.3 now. Still mad money though.
sure.
Um,
And I was telling
but
somebody about it recently, and they said he takes that to airsoft field. Does he have, what kind of protection does he use for the lens?
none.
None. Oh man, this dude. Okay. This guy likes to take risks. All
the
right.
the the pucker factor is real. As we, it's yeah, it's going. The thing is, if you try to put anything across the front of a thermal, it either stops it working or it generally really impacts the image.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so like people don't, a lot of people don't realize that a thermal scope can't see through glass. You can't
Really?
see, no, you can't see through glass.
Oh,
You can't see through perspex, which, like I say, like those are the two sort of go-tos. Right, this is what I'm going to put in front of my,
exactly. Yeah.
and you can't use it. It just completely
Oh,
blanks the image.
okay.
So I did try like a kill flash, an aluminium sort of honeycomb kill flash, and it kind of worked. Um, but it also kind of did make the image a bit smudgy.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's it is a bit of a risk, but the other side of it is with a rifle scope lens, especially like the front, the objective, they are kind of curved. They are
Hmm.
concave, convex. I'm leaning towards concave.
Yeah.
Um, so with that in mind, if they do get hit, the shock is spread throughout the lens. It's not
Hmm.
focused into one point. Whereas
Exactly.
if you've got something that's flat, so if you've
Yep.
got one of the like the smaller thermals that sit on top of an AR, for
Hmm.
example, they tend to have flat objectives.
Okay.
Um, those, get shot out
Yep.
really easily.
Yeah, the red dots as well. They're all
Yeah,
flat.
exactly. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Same
Okay.
sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So you tend to, have more of an issue with those than you do with a sort of, a traditional sort of scope lens.
Yeah. Okay.
Not to say it's not impossible,
Sure. Sure.
but I mean, if for example I'm playing in a situation where I'm not using the thermal, I've got like just a cover on the front, just a cap, and I just close the cap off because I
Oh,
can
nice.
close the cap off and still just use the daytime side.
Yeah.
Because that sits on top of the main scope and it's got like a tiny little opening. It's actually got a shutter on it so you can close that as well. But it's sort of like a concertina one. So all I do is I close it enough so that the gap is smaller than a BB. So if something did, I mean, it's a tiny little sensor. So I mean, Christ, if something hit it, I mean, I'd doff my cap kind of thing, but
Right.
the chances of it being hit are small. And then, like I say,
Right.
even with this concertina thing pulled, I can still see through it without it impacting the image. It's just affecting the amount of light coming in, but it's generally not an issue in the day.
Huh. Interesting.
Um, so yeah, but yeah, it's not without risk.
Yeah, for sure, man. Okay. That's cool. So you got some these are so you got some pictures with
Oh, you got to do the selfies, don't you? You've got to.
I mean you got to, man. This is that's what events are
Absolutely.
for, bro.
And what an absolutely lovely guy he is as well.
I've heard that from everyone.
You
Everyone
know
that I've talked
what?
to that have met him face to face.
What a
Uh
gent.
yeah, great dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
shout out Alphonse.
And yeah, we were ribbing him sort of for for the whole weekend,
I'm sure.
because he's obviously like okay, he's a jacked individual.
Oh yeah, he is.
He cuts a specific look, shall we say?
He's like a mini bodybuilder.
Yeah.
He's got
So
some of his older videos on his Instagram or something like that, reels and stuff. He like does these funny ones where he's fully dressed up in a scuba suit
yeah,
with flippers on and a mask on and a snorkel, and he's doing deadlifts, like 400-pound deadlifts. Okay,
I
like
know,
what?
I know. I mean, to be fair though, carrying around that LMG all day, I'm not surprised.
For real. That thing gets heavy,
It's,
bro.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, actually, that we'll come to that. So yeah, like I say, we were ribbing him just because the poor man needs his calorific intake to keep that physique going. So on the site, they'd organised there was like a little burger van, and so yeah, obviously he needed to go get his calories somehow. So he was getting these burgers, and we just kept ribbing him like, living the stereotype there, Alphonse. Come on, American
Right?
going for a cheeseburger, right?
Was he the only American there?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's
So yeah,
cool.
obviously it was all very light-hearted, but yeah,
Absolutely.
he took it the right way. But yeah, we were just ribbing him. But
That's
yeah,
cool.
great guy to play alongside as well. The It's funny, the first day he was mainly using the LMG, and then I think by the second day he realized that the way UK Airsoft is in terms of like the rules regarding riflemen and support are a bit different to the way you guys play.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Like
so
what?
like
Do you know?
well, yeah, so he was sort of explaining that a support weapon generally runs a higher joule than say a normal rifleman.
Mm-hmm.
He's also allowed full auto,
Right.
whereas a rifleman generally is only allowed sort of semi-auto.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the UK, um, whether it's an AR, submachine gun, pistol, shotgun, LMG, they all run the same power level, and you are allowed full auto.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of makes carrying an LMG a little bit pointless
A little
because
pointless, yeah.
if you can run full auto with an AR,
Yep.
why would you carry the LMG?
Mm-hmm. Half the weight.
So
Yep.
exactly. Um, so yeah, the second day he took his M4 out, and yeah, I just remember him sort of saying to me, looking at me, going, "I feel so bad full autoing people because, like, he just feels naughty because he's just not used to sort of running an AR and being able to flick the switch." So,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't think it like affected him that much, but yeah, definitely the second day he was carrying an M4
Nice.
rather than the LMG. Um, but yeah, um, yeah, great guy to play alongside. Very good player, obviously. I
Right.
think on the last reel that I put up, I was sort of providing him with a bit of over. Yeah, it's that one on the left there, providing him with a bit of Overwatch. We were sort of walking down towards the enemy fob, just trying to cause some trouble. And someone had mentioned that there was a sniper that was taking someone out on the right hand side. So we were like, right, let's go find him. Um, and yeah, it's not too long before, yeah, I'm just having a quick look there, just to sort of scan where we were going. There was nothing obvious, and then it's not. too long before someone says, "Yeah, I think it was just down there." So I have a look, and then yeah, thermal. There he is.
Right. Are you the
Yeah.
only one on the field at this event that's running a thermal? Do you know?
Uh, I think I was the only player.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Certainly one of the guys from Ascension had got a handheld thermal spotter because they were using that on the second day with the Gilly hide and seek game, which was probably the most fun
Yeah. Explain that.
I've had in
What
a
was that
long
all
time. So
about?
so before, obviously, they'd got like the main sort of game
Yeah.
on that was sort of across the 2 days. And they were sending different objectives through on mobile phones as the day went on. But on the second day, before the main game kicked off, Mustang got all the Gilly players that were there. And I've got to say, the second day was a lot quieter than the first. The first day, given that there was that many people, it was actually quite a tricky day to get around the field because the terrain at this place was pretty extreme,
Hmm.
to put it mildly. Given that it was an old quarry, there was quite a lot of relief, and there was a lot of very steep banks,
Oh, okay.
which was again the pucker factor of holding this rifle that's God knows how much, and it's got this scope on top, and I'm sliding down like near vertical slopes on my butts. I'm like, don't drop it, don't drop it, don't drop it,
All right.
because that's one thing. Thermal scopes do not like being knocked. It
Oh,
plays
okay.
havoc with the sensor. You've got to treat them nice.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that was again the pucker factor again. But anyhow, um, so yeah, the second day was a lot quieter. So there wasn't as many gillies there either.
Yeah.
And James had got this idea in his head where he wanted to play like a hide and seek game,
Uh-huh.
and kind of sort of last man standing. So he kind of earmarked out an area that was about 50 meters square. And again, like I say, this is before the main game. And he got Alphonse to come out with him. We were all sort of positioned at the bottom, like on this road, and then there was this bank going up, and like I say, it's about 50 square meters. And Alphonse was kind of looking the other way, and it's kind of like, right, everybody, go. You've got 5 minutes, hide. And then after that, once it was called, Alphonse, Mustang, another couple of other guys, then were basically walking around trying to find everyone.
Mm.
And then there was prizes for for people who kind of did got into like the last five or six or whatever.
Yeah. That's pretty cool,
So
man.
yeah, it's kind of hide and seek with a bit of jeopardy. So obviously we weren't carrying anything, but Alphonse was sort of volunteered to shoot us if he could see us. Um, which was funny. But yeah, I mean, James put a video up. I think it was 2 days ago, and I think it's got over 2 million views already,
Yeah.
which was amazing.
Of that sniper
Um,
event or that sniper thing.
just that hide and seek. There it is, Gilly Sniper World Championships Extreme Hide and Seek. Oh, so it's 5 days ago. Sorry.
This one here.
Uh, yeah, I'm sure he said it was up to something silly like 2 million views. No, 100. Okay, I stand corrected. I'm sure I saw something on a reel on Instagram
I
or
was gonna say
whatever.
it's probably one of those reels, the shorts.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, it could be.
He probably because I know he did a
Uh,
shorts. Some of his shorts get
yeah. Oh, I don't know. No
like
idea.
look at
But
this short, 20 million views on this
yeah,
headshot. It's pretty funny.
either way though, he did make a video of it because Alphonse had got a head cam on. I'd got my shoulder cam on at the time, so there's a couple of clips where there's me bitching because I'm wearing a new green suit. So
Yeah.
one of the things he's just released a new suit sort of within the last sort of couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously, it was a bit of a shame because we're sort of coming towards the end of the season now. And so
Mm.
everybody was sort of that. I mean, I think they sold out all the suits in about 3 minutes when they went
Whoa.
live. So I was lucky to get one kind of thing.
Now
Um,
what's the new suit? Like what What new features or something does it have?
So the old suits were made by a Russian company.
Yeah, I remember
I
him
don't think I'm
telling me about
speaking.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and obviously with the way things are at the moment, that that could no longer kind of happen.
absolutely. Yeah, you had
So
to find a new one.
he had to find a new tailor. So yeah, he's managed to do that. Um, there's a few nice little things that have been sort of tweaked from the older version. So obviously it's a whole new pattern. They've got the AGM mesh pre-sewn into the suits, which is great. So a little bit less crafting to do there, perhaps. They've
Right.
also got these new sort of opaque leaves. And there's a few nice little touches in that they've added boot covers. Not
Uh,
complete boot covers, but
okay.
it definitely does cover a lot more of your boots
Like it
than say
drapes down
the
over
older.
the top of your.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So there's a story. There's a story
Uh-oh.
with that as well. Um, so yeah, these suits, as I say, came out not too long before this event. So anybody that kind of did get one was sort of furiously trying to craft the suit to try them out to get them ready. So I
Yeah.
managed to get mine pretty well done. But I hadn't had a chance, obviously, because it's a new suit. It's not been aged, which is
Hmm.
always a real issue. Because when they're too clean and they're too new, it doesn't matter how good the crafting is. You know,
Yeah.
you need some dirt and grit and
I think
shit on it. You
you
know
had
what I mean?
mentioned that the first time I had you on, you were talking about, take it out and rub it in the dirt or something, or,
Yeah,
roll it
definitely.
around
Yeah,
when you get a new one.
go roll it around. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know, just because you need to get
It's
some
a little
filter on it.
shiny or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, absolutely. Um, so yeah, I was a little bit paranoid with my suit sort of being a little bit too new. But yeah, on in that particular hide and seek thing, I sort of found a like a rhododendron bush, and I was like, this will be a good place. So managed to sort of get inside this bush, and
Those are good
then
because their leaves are pretty shiny.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
That's what I mean. It's like they've got that sort of waxy coating. So I was
Yeah,
like,
they
yeah,
do.
this stands a good chance of sort of blending in here. But then I realized I'm lying on a bed of like brown leaves, and I'm like, oh
Oh
no.
no.
So I'm like, I'm green. I'm in a
Uh,
bush, but like I'm green, and this is so I'm like furiously trying to flick like leaf litter over me, and then I'm realizing I'm now creating like hand marks in the leaf
uh-huh.
litter where and so I'm like trying to oh yeah, so
Trying to get that all
it
sorted
is what
out.
it is. Yeah, absolutely. And like I say, we didn't have long to hide. And
Okay.
the other problem was obviously there was 15 of us in this like really small area.
Woo.
So like we were all running, and obviously there's only so many places that realistically you can hide. So
Hmm.
we're all sort of like one guy sort of I could see him coming over, and I was already in this bush, and he sort of stuck his head through. And I was like, "Hi," and he was like, "No!" So he's like trying to find somewhere else quick, you know. So yeah, there was a lot of that going on. But yeah, I did all right. I got about halfway through. Lee unfortunately got taken out a little bit too soon, and this comes back to the whole boot cover thing. He
Yeah.
got like an amazing position, but Alphonse managed to see his boot, and that was the
Ah,
only thing that gave him away because Lee, he's got like a little thing where he will do other people's suits for them, and he's been really busy of late, sort of working on other people's suits. So he
yep.
hadn't spent that much time on his own. So
Oh
he'd
man.
managed to get the jacket done, but he didn't get the trousers done. So he was wearing an old pair of trousers with a new jacket. And the thing that gave him away was the one thing if he'd have had the new trousers on,
It would have covered his.
it would have covered his boot and he
Oh.
wouldn't have probably would have, probably would have won. So he was livid. He was absolutely livid that he got spotted. So yeah, never mind.
Tell him,
Never mind.
that saying when you get on an airplane, they say, put your own mask on first before you try to put on your child's or someone else. Because
Yep,
if you're asphyxious, if you die, you can't help anyone. Okay.
absolutely. Yep. There you
Get your
go.
own suit ready first, Lee. Okay. Then do everyone else's.
Yeah, yeah. But there you go. Yeah, it was great. I mean, the
That's
last
cool.
three guys, they had to break out a thermal camera to find him in the end.
Whoa.
Yeah, and even then, what they obviously the guy with the thermal sort of kind of led them to the area. He wasn't saying right, they're over there. He was kind of like, right, you're in the area. There's a ghillie, like we're pretty much standing on him. Find him.
Oh, okay.
And I mean the final guy was in a tree.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
cool.
so obviously, when you're looking, you're sort of looking on a plane, aren't you?
Yeah, you're looking
Not
down. Yeah.
everybody's thinking to look up.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that was that. I mean, like I say, I think that was probably the highlight of the weekend for me. And it was nothing to do with shooting. It was just that fear factor of just being sort of curled up in a fetal position, just hoping you don't get spotted.
That is cool, man. I love that he did that at the end there. What do you think about doing something like an event that would be like just a stalk, right? You all take turns,
Mm,
set up some kind of stalking uh, scenario, and what you'd have is basically the same thing you're doing what you just described, except you have an objective over here, like a target. Maybe you got this hostage or terrorist over here. Then you've got a starting point. You can only go, there's out of bounds left and
hmm
right. Um, you have to get up close enough to take a shot without being spotted by the spotter who is up there with like binos, okay?
Yeah, yeah,
Looking out. So there's a scene in a movie called Clear and Present Danger
yep,
where it's an older movie, Tom Clancy, based on a Tom Clancy book that I read years ago. But main character is Harrison Ford, if anyone's curious. But there's a scene in there where they're doing sniper training, and that's one of the
hmm
things. The sniper is crawling through the brush,
yep.
picking off this target, without being spotted. And the other thing is the group that I talked to in Canada. Oh my gosh, Extreme
Long
Long
range guys.
Range,
Yeah.
ELR. Yes. Yeah, I think you and I had talked about that before
Mm,
because you knew about that. Well, anyway, they had talked about, in fact, one of their team members, Sniper Chick. She was the first one I had on. That's on part of that group. That's what they do. They set up
mm.
these scenarios and they do that. I would love to see Kicking Mustang set up something like that for you
Yeah.
guys.
I mean, there's
It'd be
given
fun.
the success of this event, I think it's a given that there's going to be another one at some point.
Yeah.
So I mean, these are the kind of things. I mean, I've got to be fair. He did actually set up in the main game. He gave the ghillie snipers sort of a separate objective, so it was a bit like a nod back to some of the games that some of the sniper games that he used to play apparently, where so it was almost a cross between sort of orienteering. I don't know if you've sort of seen that, where you get like a map and you have to get to a certain location.
Hmm.
Um, and then you find like a piece of a puzzle. So in this particular case, it was we had to get to there was a couple of grid references, and then each of these grid references would give a further grid reference, which there was like an objective at essentially. So it was a case of getting to those, but obviously there's going to be other snipers on the other team also going there, so it's do
Hmm.
you how do you play it? Do you want to play sort of defensively and just sort of hold the objective and pick people off coming to get the info, or do you
Mm.
play it super aggressive? And so yeah, there was some nice sort of sub play, as it were, sub games for the bulk guys. But I think, to be honest, everybody just kind of went, you know what, I just want to shoot people.
Right.
Everyone's here to get footage and shoot people, I suppose.
Hmm.
And it kind of descended into that a little bit, I suppose. But um, yeah, I mean, in terms of doing like a stalk like that, I think that'd be really difficult for airsoft just because of the distances involved. You're a lot closer
Hmm.
than you would be sort of with
Real
real
steel.
steel. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we do a thing sort of at the local site sometimes where they'll have a series of objectives, and typically at certain points around the site they'll put up like the splatter targets,
Mm.
and so usually they'll stick them at like either team's sort of main base. So the idea being that somebody has to like try and get there and obviously get a shot on these targets. I think you're allowed 5 hits on the on each target, so you have to obviously look to see if it's already been shot. Because
Uh,
if you put too many shots down, they void it, so it
oh,
doesn't
okay.
count. So you can't just be spraying rounds down with an AR. You've got to be making sure that you are actually landing. And obviously, if you've got no way of verifying because you've got like say a red dot and you can't see that the target's already been shot, you've got to leave it for the bolty guys, you know. So we're able to actually see, okay, this target hasn't been hit. Let's let's go do it.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, it is incredibly difficult to get close enough to take an accurate
I'm
shot.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's nice little sort of you know, side games that just add a little bit of spice to the, you know, the overall day, doesn't it? You know, so
Hmm.
I, you know, again, as a bolt action player, I appreciate little things like that. You know,
For sure.
so
What was the other story you were going to tell when I brought up the picture with you and Alphonse? Was there something else? You said there's a bit of a story behind that
uh, I can't
about
think
him,
now. So
or was
yeah,
it the
trying to
fact that
think.
you guys were teasing him about?
Yeah, I think pretty much. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
just ribbing him about stereotypes
yeah.
and yeah, just generally how lovely he was. You know, like I say, really nice guy to chat to. Just dead down to earth.
Now,
So
do you know these guys here? This picture I've got pulled up of the original I pulled up with.
so yeah, that one.
I don't know. I can't even
I
count.
I recognize. I think two of those are some of the guys that were with me, and the other ones people that I just met on the day. Like I say,
Yeah,
that was just prior to us walking to the hide and seek game. That was. It was just like I needed to get a photo of of
yeah.
everyone
That's pretty
together.
cool, man.
I think there's a few of the people that I sort of recognize on there, but yeah, beyond that, I mean, and again, that wasn't everyone. That was just the problem with taking like a photo, you know, a selfie on the front camera is it hasn't got that wide
No,
an
it.
angle, so I couldn't get
Mm-mm.
everyone in. But you know,
Yep.
um, but yeah.
That's cool. So, what's your next big event you going to this year? You have anything else for the rest of the year?
Oh, nothing sort of planned as yet. I mean, I need to obviously get my rifle sorted. I mean, don't get me wrong, the SRS, like I say, it's kind of it's kind of my baby. My SRS is sort of like the rifle that
Sure.
I I absolutely love. The TAC for me is more of a working platform in the sense of it spends as much time in pieces sort of testing stuff as it does being sort of taken out for games. But I recently had a new stock for it. The Silverback just released a what they call, well, two new versions of the rifle, the light and the light sport, and they
Hmm.
put on like a very lightweight, slim down stock.
Yeah.
And the issue that I've always sort of had with the TAC is because it's more of a traditional looking rifle
Hmm.
compared to something like the SRS, which is obviously a bullpup. The weight is a lot further forward, so you
Yeah.
tend to feel it a bit more in your left arm as you do with, say, a
Uh,
bullpup, which is a lot shorter. And obviously, the weight sort of, even though the SRS weighs more, I'm I'm better using it later. So once you get to like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, my left arm doesn't feel as worn out with the SRS, even though the overall rifle is heavier
yeah.
compared to like a more traditional layout, just because there's more weight further out front.
Hmm.
Um,
So the
so
balance is good.
yeah, so this new stock obviously takes a lot of weight off the front end. So I've got a carbon barrel, carbon suppressor again, trying to shift the weight, the balance sort of further back, and it's made a huge difference. It's a lot easier to sort of play sort of longer into the day. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the TAC 41A. So that's the aluminium stock. So that's the one that I used to have.
Okay.
Well, I've still got it, but that's not the one that I'm using. So they do a version called the TAC 41L.
Hmm.
So that's the poly, that's the P, that's the original.
Yeah.
There's the SRS.
Their
Um,
guns look amazing, dude.
oh, they're
The
great to use.
style, I love them.
Yeah, silverback. Yeah,
Yeah. So
for
I've got
bolt
anyone
actions.
that's just listening. If you guys want to go, when you get a chance, go watch it or go check out this website, Silverback Airsoft. Got some badass looking guns.
Yeah, there's the MDR.
Yep.
Got one of them as well. That's cheat mode though, that gun. I've got one and I very rarely take it out because it's just God mode. It's too
Really?
easy. Yeah.
Okay.
It's I mean, when they first came out, there was a lot of ooh, bad press with it.
Oh, okay.
The quality control maybe wasn't quite as good as it should have been.
Hmm.
Some people got really good rifles, myself included. Some
Yeah.
people got some pretty dodgy ones, and there was a
Gotcha.
few issues. But I've got to give Silverback props because if they ever have issues, they release like an upgrade package
Hmm.
which solves the problems, and they generally send it out free of charge. How many
Whoa.
companies do that? Yeah, exactly. So,
What?
so we've had two
That's
series of
impressive.
updates for the MDR,
Okay.
and you haven't had to pay for them. You can't fault
That's
that. Yeah,
impressive,
it's
bro.
kind of like a hardware patch, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
there's not
that's
many companies that do that.
impressive.
Yeah, there you go. There's the TAC 41 L. So you can see like the very sort of super pared back stock on that. The TAC 41L Sport. Yeah, there you go. And the L Sport.
Oh,
So
that's cool
the
looking.
yeah, so like I say, it's super sort of stripped back.
Okay.
Um, and it's a lot of people. Well, Lee, for example, he doesn't like the fact he hasn't got a cheek piece. Um,
Uh,
but I don't tend to mind because I tend to wear a mask under my balaclava, so it just means I can still get, you know, I can look down the scope without any issues.
hmm.
But I can understand, if I'm sure it'd be easy enough to put a cheek piece on it. I mean, it's got Picatinny rail on the back. That's how the
Yeah.
stock actually connects. So you could just take the just at the back there. If you look just below, there you go. Yeah, you see that little yeah, that
Oh,
square
yeah.
piece there. You just
Uh-huh.
unscrew that, and there's a piece of Picatinny there. So you could put on a
Oh,
stock
that's
of
cool.
your yeah.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, like the name suggests, the lightness is all because the whole thing's sort of polymer, other than the receiver itself. And they do two versions of that. So I actually bought one for my son. So the LS, which is the light sport, the receiver itself is also polymer.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
so it's even lighter still.
Hmm.
It's got an aluminium cylinder as opposed to the stainless steel one.
Okay.
Um, and I mean, it shoots equally as good as the other versions.
Yeah.
And the mad thing is with this is that the price point on this is ridiculous. I think they're sort of they're well sub 200 quid, which for a bolt action rifle, yes, you can get other bolt actions that you know cost that much, but they won't shoot as well as that.
Right.
You don't need to do too much with attack. Just maybe a spring, just to get the power up. And that will get it shooting nicely. You know,
Yeah.
if you want to then go down the rabbit hole, then obviously you can because
Yeah. Uh,
all the parts are
almost endless.
compatible. Yeah, of course. But all the parts are compatible with like the previous versions of the tack, so
Okay.
you can just chop and change. There you go. There's the Picatinny on the back.
That's pretty cool, man.
So yeah, very flexible range the tack
Hmm.
is now. I think I was singing its praises last time, but again, they've done it again. So like I say, I got my lad one of those, the light sport.
Yeah.
We actually, because he's a bit wonky-eyed in that he's right-handed, but he's left eye dominant, which is a
Mm.
problem
Yep.
looking down scope. So we
Right.
actually just put a red dot on his, and we detuned it a little bit, so it was just running on point fours at just under 2 joules, and at sort of normal sort of AEG ranges. So I'm sort of saying, up to sort of say 60 meters. That
Yeah.
thing is just in point, and it's brutal. He just goes around knocking people to pieces. Obviously, he hasn't got the longer range, although the shots will go out to sort of 80 meters because he's using a red dot. He just can't really accurately aim.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything sort of under 60 meters, it's a nasty little bit of kit that is.
I'm sure. Yeah, I love their catalog, man. It's all their
Yeah,
guns are good looking guns.
yeah. But like I say, that MDR, once you set it up, because it comes with a couple of different trigger boards, so you can run it as a DMR, quick change spring, because it is an AG.
Yeah.
Um, so you just drop in a bigger spring to up the power, switch the board over,
Yeah.
and it's good to go as a DMR. Um, and you've got mags with I think it's 80 odd rounds in, and it's just too easy. It shoots as flat and virtually as far as a, a lot cheaper bolt actions, to be honest. Um,
Really?
yeah, and
That's
that's what I mean.
crazy.
It just become. I mean, the stock cylinder's got like a vent in it, but you can swap it out for a solid cylinder,
Okay.
which is what I did with mine.
Yeah.
And it just helps give you the full air volume. Um, and it's a big old cylinder as well, so that just gives you the ability to lift sort of heavier ammo. So I typically run mine on fours,
Hmm.
um, and yeah, it's fast firing, it's accurate, it will send them a long way, and it's just cheap mode. It's just too easy. Like I say, you put the thermal on top of that thing, and it's just
Yeah.
it's naughty. I gave it Lee for one
Okay.
game. I gave it Lee for one game, and I regretted it because he was on the other team, and he, he just kicked like our team the whole like the whole morning, and he admitted, by sort of like lunchtime, it was just like, nah, it's too easy. It's
Yeah.
too easy. I mean,
Hmm.
it's nice to do sort of once. Don't get me wrong, get it out of your system. But
Sure.
as a regular go-to rifle, I think it's just too good.
Yeah.
It just performs too well, especially with a couple of little upgrades. They shoot incredibly, and they've just about to release the V3. So it's got a new trigger unit in it. Apparently, they've
Okay.
revised the piston head. They've also announced the Micron version, so it's
Yeah, that's right
a
here.
little shorty. Yeah, so that's about the same sort of size as a P90. It's tiny.
Yeah. Right.
Um, so yeah, don't know what the performance on that is going to be like, but we'll soon see. Like I say, not
Hmm.
too long before they're released. And again, interchangeable. You can just buy the outer barrel and the inner barrel, shorter
Yeah.
one, and the handguard. Swap it over. It's just a couple of pins that you knock out and drop them in. So I think you're going to be seeing quite a few of those on fields. I really do.
Yeah, I'm sure. Do they do gas blowbacks at all?
No,
Just the
no.
AGs and the bolts? Okay.
I mean, the age. I mean, the first ever gun I think was a PP19, many many years ago. Don't
Mm.
think it was that popular, and then they just started doing the bolt actions primarily. It was the
Yeah.
SRS, the HTI. I think they've discontinued the HTI now, which is a shame.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not surprised though, because like it serves no purpose whatsoever.
Really?
It's the most impractical um, sort of airsoft rifle you could possibly imagine. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you play in a country where you can easily, use those kind of, I know some places in sort of Scandinavia, they happily run 5 dual
Woo,
rifles.
buddy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
get hit with that sucker. Dang.
well, you say that, but we actually, I think I mentioned this last time. We were sort of playing with dual creeping, sorry,
Yeah.
on bolt actions, and because the cylinder size of the HTI is so big, it dual creeps like you wouldn't believe.
Mm.
So you can have that set at like 497 FPS on a zero point 0.2, which is just shy of 2.3 joules.
Yeah.
Um, you put a 4.5 in that, and it's just shy of 5 joules,
Wow.
just by swapping the ammo.
Okay.
It's nuts. So we did that for a laugh. And yeah, we got the laser rangefinder out, and that thing was shooting 105 meters flat. That's
Woo,
before,
buddy.
yeah. Um,
Oh my
and
gosh.
and then one of the lads is like, "Come on, then shoot me with it. Let's see what it feels like."
Oh,
Like,
he's risky.
oh man, and I hadn't got an optic on it either, so we were literally just sort of trying to aim down this huge massive thing. And I mean, he'd gone about sort of 50, 60 meters. And to be fair, um, it wasn't that bad being hit by it. You know,
Okay. Okay.
I could imagine if you'd set like a minimum engagement range of, say, 40 meters,
Yeah.
50 meters maybe, it's no worse than getting hit by something else a bit closer.
Well, yeah, that's true. The distance does make a difference.
Yeah, definitely. The biggest difference though is the noise the thing makes. When that
Mm,
sends a BB, if you miss, like with a rifle that's at about 2 joules, if you miss, sometimes people don't notice because the BB doesn't really make a noise.
right.
Not at 5 joules. That thing comes past your head and everybody knows about it. It's just
It
like,
knocks your hair
oh
a little
my
bit.
God. It's just that tearing of the air because obviously it's a round, projectile, so it's not like it's particularly well shaped. So
Right.
all that air getting pushed out of the way, it's not quiet.
Uh-huh.
Um, it's funny, but it's yeah, you got to make sure you hit them the first time because if you miss, everybody's just going to run.
That's funny.
But yeah,
It's
and
impressive to have on the shelf though, man. This thing looks
oh,
badass.
definitely, you drop it in a safe zone and everyone's like, oh, jeez. Everyone just
Right.
wants to have a look, stick it on a bipod, especially if you've got the Elite Iron suppressor on the front of it as well. It's
Mm,
it's huge. The really stupid thing is though, I mean the magazines are massive, and the magazines weigh about sort of 500 grams each, and I think you get like 30 BBs in it.
yeah.
It's like how?
Really?
Why? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's got
Look
it's
how big
got
they are.
I know they're massive. Well, obviously they're 50 cals. It's supposed to have five 50 cal BMG rounds in it.
That's
So I mean,
true.
it's huge, But yeah, the airsoft one, no, they could have they could have got a lot more in that. I mean, the TAC 41, they do an extended mag for that, and it's got 110 rounds in it.
Yeah.
So and it's like half the size of that. So they
Right.
there's no excuse. Come on, Silverback, up your game, guys. Come on.
Let's go.
Yeah, we want a patch for the HDI. That's it.
For real. That's wild though. Okay. Yeah, we've never had a actually I've never seen a silverback like in person that I know of. We never got
Okay.
one in a mystery box.
Yeah.
And when I first started hearing about these, I think first guy I had on that talked about that was one of his main guns was the maybe it was an SRS. Yeah, I was like, oh, I've never heard of that brand. Okay.
Mm.
That's pretty cool. But yeah, they've got some good stuff.
Yeah, recommended. Get my stamp of approval anyway.
So what else you been working on, man? You're still putting out some videos on your YouTube channel. You got some good
Yeah, I mean, I've been
sniper
going
vids.
through the footage from Rumble in the Jungle. I mean, the first day, like I say, because there was that many people there. The thing with that site, because of the relief
Yeah.
in like certain areas, it creates quite a lot of choke points.
Yeah.
So it very much came down to there were some big firefights in some areas where it, you basically got pinned. Um,
Mm,
I mean, there was one bit that I can sort of think of on the first day where we just got stuck at this one point overlooking a bit of a we got like the high ground and there was like a bit of a berm that we were kind of leaning on. It's funny. It was covered in moss. It rained like all week up until that event, and I'm
yeah.
sort of lying on this berm, like sort of crawling up to the top, and I just get my rifle into position. I'm just starting to look, and then I just start sliding back down because of the.
No.
I'm like,
Oh,
so
that moss is slippery, bro.
yeah, it was just a nightmare. You kind of like trying to sort of kick into the berm with your feet to sort of support yourself a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it was a right pain. Um, but I mean that one particular area, yeah, it just became such a choke point for both teams, to be honest, because we'd kind of got the higher ground, so obviously we could see further. But they were managing to sort of sneak up from the side. They'd also got quite a lot of vehicles in play that day, which was a bit of a new thing for me. There's not many sites in the UK
Mm,
that sort of use vehicles,
yeah.
particularly.
So
So
these weren't
they
just vehicles that are on the field like as cover. These were in like
No,
moving.
yeah, yeah, moving, yeah, in play,
Really?
yeah, yeah. So they were sort of ferrying people. They were being driven by the marshals,
Yeah,
but it'd be the
sure.
case that if you were at one particular part, get a group of you jump in the back. They got like a unimog. They got
Oh,
some
okay.
defenders, and they'll go drop you off somewhere else, which was
Oh,
which
that's
was
kind of
cool.
cool.
Yeah, you couldn't get hit if you're in a vehicle, but they did have a thing where if someone threw a a grenade or whatever,
Yeah.
everybody the vehicle stopped and you had to dismount.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
So
That's kind of how it is here with the mill sims that when they have vehicles, the only thing you can take out a vehicle or anyone in a vehicle is the if you take out the whole vehicle with like a grenade or a launchable
yeah,
or something. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that was something a bit new for me. So that was pretty good. I also got that's where the photo was taken actually. That just by that berm. There was a couple of photos. So there's a chap. I've got to give him a big shout out actually. Airsoft Project on Instagram.
Oh, let me
He's a
check him out.
photographer who does some, honestly, some incredible work.
Yeah.
He goes around at some events, and I've been sort of speaking to him online for a little bit because we'd both gone through the whole meta shadow ban
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
and that's the man.
Yeah, I've been following him for a while. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So obviously, like I say, we'd sort of spoken online, but I'd never met him. And
Hmm.
I'd heard he was going to be there. And as I was walking back to that particular choke point, I saw a guy with a long lens. And I was like, oh, is that who I think it is? And sort of like, it was that sort of mutual sort of realization that, oh, it's you. I've been speaking to you. Oh, yeah, yeah, it's you. Yeah, 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 yeah. Cool, cool. So there's that photo of me. So he ended up using that as like the cover photo for the event there. So that was obviously a staged one because I mean like he sort of says in the the text on the right, like if we're doing our job properly, we we don't get game photos because you shouldn't be finding us, you shouldn't be seeing us.
That's right.
Uh,
Yep.
so yeah, I mean
Yeah, if he
that
took a picture of you while you're in the hunt or whatever, like it's not going to really turn out too well for an actual
no,
photograph because you're not going to have this contrast where you could actually
absolutely.
see you. Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal photo. I want to, I need to nag him for like the full res, image because I want that on canvas or on like a metal plate or something because
that
that's
would
just
be
an
cool,
absolute,
man.
that's a banger of a photo. That's going on my wall.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was great to sort of finally put a face to the name.
That's cool.
Um, but yeah, he's got some amazing art.
Yeah,
He's
shout out
a
Airsoft
talented guy.
Project. Yeah.
Um, just trying to think what else was there in terms of other people. I think
Did
that
they
that
have did
that
they have vendors and stuff set up or at all?
so there was a few that were planned. I think life lifed and got in the way for a few of them.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Some of the local sites shops came on the second day.
Hmm.
And yeah, they were spent most of the day playing, I think, which is cool.
That's cool.
So yeah, so yeah, it's a good laugh there. It's
Nice,
nice to
sweet.
see, nice to because usually, I mean, the guys that are at that particular shop, shout out to DEF CON. I know that because obviously they Airsoft is like their daily, bread and butter kind of thing. And it's one of those, it's like when I used to do a lot of work as a sound engineer and people would always like, oh, what music do you listen to? It's like nothing. What do you have on in the car? Nothing. Talk radio, if anything, because I'm dealing with music all day, every day. Sometimes I just need
Yep.
to, you know what I mean? I don't want to be
Yep.
listening because it's just I'm back in work mode. You know what I mean? And I know
Hmm.
that's what they sometimes say about airsoft. Where'd you play? I don't like. I'm dealing with airsoft replicas and orders and God knows what all day long. I just want to go.
Hmm.
I want to the weekend. I want to switch off. But yeah, they got stuck in that. Uh, it's quite funny actually. Ray, who's one of I think he's the manager of the site. He was actually on our team, and for about the first 20 minutes of the game, Lee and I were shooting at him. He doesn't know this. He might find out now. And we were actually on the same team as him, and
Oh
we were
shit.
shooting at him just to get him to run.
No
we,
way.
yeah, we were just playing with him, just sticking rounds down by him, just making him run from one set of trees to another. Just,
Oh
just
my God, that's awesome. You guys got to get that on camera and do a short video on that. Look at this guy. Check him out. We're gonna make him run, okay? That's awesome.
So yeah, he got his steps in that morning. He said,
There you go. Exactly.
"Sorry, Ray. You know, not sorry."
Sorry, not sorry. That's cool, man. Well, listen, brother, it's been awesome talking with you again. I'm so glad we got
Yeah,
to meet up.
likewise. Yeah, defo.
Yeah, man.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And like I say, thank you for inviting me back on again.
Of course, dude. Yeah,
Um,
always welcome. Always welcome. We still need to get Lee on here at some point,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
I will nag him.
Yeah, nag him for me, okay?
Yeah,
I'm always
I'll
looking
hook you up.
for new guests. I got a form people can fill out on my website. Anyone that doesn't
Okay.
know. Yeah, if you go to the website, I moved it up closer to the top where it's easier to see. Uh, Click on that form, fill it out, and I check those every day, and it's really easy to sign up to be a guest.
Yeah, no, I will hook you up. If you have a look on Instagram, Lee is Bushy Gilly Brothers. So he's tagged in most of my posts anyway. So
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say I want to say I followed him after I met you,
mhm.
or after I had you on,
Yeah,
but I might have reached out to him. I can't remember. I reach out to a lot of people, and I can't remember who's gotten back, and um, whatever.
yeah,
So
he'd be a great guy to talk about like the crafting of the suits because
right,
when I say that guy has got an eye for it, I mean he has got an eye for it. You know,
yeah,
I mean the work that he puts out. I mean, like I say, look, I will craft a suit when I've got time, but if I want something that extra little bit special, um, yeah, there's only one guy for the job. It's like, go on. Can you hook me up, brother? Please,
uh,
you got a bit of time for me. And
yeah,
yeah, like I say, he did my brown suit. Um, and yeah, that is a banging suit, especially for the like I say, the site that we tend to play at. I think he outdid himself there. So yeah, he's one definitely to have on to have a chat about crafting.
that'd be
Is
cool.
yeah, I think everybody could learn a trick or two from him.
Awesome,
So yeah,
man. Well,
so yeah,
thank you
I'll
so
hook that
much,
up.
dude. Yeah.
No
Yeah,
worries.
it's been great talking with you. Good luck in the future, the rest of the year.
Yeah,
I probably won't talk to you until next year sometime, but
Sam.
good, yeah, good holidays and happy New Year and all that good stuff. And
Likewise.
yeah, man, to you and your
All right.
family, love and respect. All right,
Yeah.
everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Check the sponsor links out in the descriptions. Go check out this guy right here, AJ Lowe on Instagram and YouTube. I'll have the links for you in this description as well. All right, brother. Have a good night.
See you around. Take care.